Alright, hello everybody, and happy Sunday. Today I just wanted to make a short video about how to use Google Tools. And this is very important when you're getting into, well, a tech career, or if you just want to organize your own career. It really is useful for anything, really, just organizing your life. So you need to create a Google account, and what I just realized is you can click this avatar to see it, but I really can't be doing that because then that shows all my Google accounts. So you need to be careful whenever you're creating content and stuff that you're not sharing personal identifying information about you or your family with the world. So, and that's just a security thing. And unfortunately, that's the way of the world as it is now. But we're working on it. Like every cybersecurity professional out there is trying to fix like the safety of that. So, but I can show you even my email. So this is my social media email account, and as you'll notice, you can't even really see much. You can see I got, password reset instructions from Code Wars, and then GitHub. So right now, first thing you'd want to do is become comfortable with Gmail. And note that if you create a Google account or a Google profile, if you will, it's like they like to call it, um, you have access to all of this stuff for free. Like you get Gmail, you get Google Docs, you get Jamboard, you get all of these things, and we'll go over Jamboard here in a second. Then here's some Google Docs. You get a resume builder. You get Google Meets, which is basically like a Zoom, a better Zoom in my opinion, because it's just as easy as using Zoom. Like it takes about as much time to figure out. I feel like they've both like really nailed their user experience, but it's free, and so and anyone can get into it, and that's the difference too. Is like even though these tools, yes, they need funding to build these tools and stuff, but it was like I was watching the other day, someone Sam Altman or something with some Chat GPT or AI, and he was saying India can't really compete because, and they even asked the question, they're like, is there some way that India can compete with a team of maybe, you've got like hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe if we could do like a team with like 10 million, which is an honest and fair question, but, and his answer was, no, you really can't compete. And it is because of that fact of what he just said is like, if you have a 10 times budget, you're doing things, and hence why Google has all this stuff for quote unquote free. So mind you, they're still recording like your shopping habits, your browsing habits, like, and you can opt out of a lot of that stuff. But by default, they kind of keep track of you as a person, and even that is so. It is creepy, but it also is so. It's like to design a better tool for everyone, and I don't know. I've just from what I've seen with how much Google does for public education, for affordable education, like especially I have family that teach at-risk youth and such, like, and I don't even like calling them that, but it's just like more. I'd almost like saying it like people who learn better a different way, or people that just didn't have a good go at the first time. But anyways, this is also for anybody in the world. Like this is how you translate to your own language and then do these things to organize your life. I mean, this is a scalable solution to fit everyone. So, anyways, um, let's see. So resume building, which is important. Also GitHub. So if you don't already have a GitHub, this is back to the technical career. GitHub is free. I went ahead and made a free GitHub account and linked it to this email. This one I think I can show you stuff like yeah, A-Rye dose. So and you can name it whatever you want. Like I feel like hiring managers nowadays understand the importance of like security and hiding your identity. I mean, I didn't as much. I've got my first name, last name on my actual personal GitHub that I use for employers, and and get it. Granted, like things change very quickly, so I mean, you don't want to be too unprofessional. Like I made a silly email right after I graduated from CSU. It was like, just yeah, this is just ridiculous. And now I just use like a basic email. So, you could use your first dot last, or you can use your first initial, last initial, and then something, or something that's so it's still identifying to you, but at the same time, like if it went out there in the public, yeah, it's a big toss up. But anyways, I gotta trust that the people out there keeping tabs on everything are doing their job. So, and even if not, like even if I am hacked or whatever, like I gotta trust that my bank will be okay. Which I hate to say it, but yeah, they don't really fall to you. They'll go catch the people that did it, and find them and, cause a lot of problems for them. And they'll get paid too. Like, it still all comes out. And even if not, they'll catch someone here stateside and then they'll make them pay for like a couple of situations. It's like, I don't know. So just don't do it. Anyways, so GitHub, and then you can link your GitHub to Code Wars. And this is why I kind of kept this up, because I tried to, I just linked it, and since I was signed into it, I want to say, in the same browser, because mind you, all of this stuff, the information is shared across each of these tabs about who I am. I'm A-Rye, social media, and the stuff I'm at, which I made this Code Wars account, A-Rye Dose, and then you can do LinkedIn. And see, that's the toss-ups, because with LinkedIn, you really do need to have like your first name dot or first and last name. So I don't know, but anyways, I'm in account settings here. There's password stuff. Um, GitHub. So link your GitHub. First, create a GitHub if you don't have it, and then link your GitHub, and then take advantage of these tools. And I left this up because then you can use Meet and Docs together. Start or join a video call right here. That way you can work on this doc during the call. So this is like how you can collaborate with someone else for free. Oh, whoops. There it is. Actually, I shouldn't really be clicking on these things, because then it's like, might share with your whole family, and I do have like, family accounts on here, so I won't be clicking on that. Also, I'd like to direct your attention to, and I left this on purpose, the update button. I'm not going to click it now, but if you see this, you need to click it, because Google's telling you to update your software. So there might be a security vulnerability that they've found that they need to patch, or there might be some optimization tool that they rolled out, or whatever. And they'll let you know, and then that kind of gives you an indication like, oh, there's something new. So you can go look at it if you want. And you should get in the habit to it. At least check out a couple. I don't know. I find it a little maddening to try to keep up with everything. Same with Minecraft patches, like, in the games that I play that get updated. Like, I'll kind of look at them, but it's just, I spend too much time looking at it. And so the main thing is just know that Google is constantly trying to keep you safe and keep you efficient. And it's a balance of security and ease of use. So, and it's a battle that's kind of going to go on going, but just click the update button when you get a chance. And that's going to close everything Google. So if you're logged into other Google profiles, which I am actually logged into a couple other Googles right now, and they have their own separate instances of Chrome. So like it's its own separate thing, segmenting, for security and all that. Yeah, so you need to set up your Gmail, be familiar with Google Docs, and this is just a template. I just selected one, so, okay, let's actually go back. So when you click Google Docs, in fact, let's go from the beginning. Here's all the stuff that I've been doing with this account. I've got YouTube, I've got Code Wars, I've been doing the GED videos, CodinGame, GitHub. But what you want to do is go here to these like 9 dots, and this is all of your Google apps that you can use with this account for free. Mind you, you've got Google Drive, which is like your cloud storage that stores all your Google Docs, your Google Sheets, and your Jamboards are the 3 main documents that I use. You've got your calendar, and careful, the calendar actually syncs with all of your Google calendars, so it shows everything. So like my phone has multiple counts. Anyways, I digress. But let's see what else is. You can explore the other stuff. Photos is good, but Docs and Sheets are the 2 main ones. This is basically like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. And I really haven't found much except for formatting issues, converting between the 2. In fact, let's go ahead and also Jamboard. Those are the main ones. Now, there's all sorts of other stuff, like Arts, Classroom, Earth, all these really cool like looking things and Voice. I know people that use Voice to like obscure their phone number, but honestly, I just screen all my calls. Like if you've got my phone number, great. I'm not going to answer unless I know you, and then you leave a message if you need to talk to me. And then I make the decision. It's like a pull versus a push request. So rather than accepting everything that's pushed to you, you only pull what you want to talk to. So I listen to my messages. If it's something I need to address, then I'll call them back. And it's sad that we have to do this, but it is secure. It's more secure. So not to say that people won't leave bogus messages. So you still need to understand what to look for. So that's the social engineering side of it in training and prevention. So preventative blue team, by training people how to better use their tech, we're actually protecting our systems and protecting ourselves. But you can also use logical tools like Google Voice to obscure your phone number. But so use that as your own will. Like, I mean, it's a good tool, but for me, it's just a lot of extra stuff to do, and I'm an impatient person, like a lot of us. So the main things I focus on, and actually for work too, is docs and sheets. So as a nonprofit, we use a lot of Google tools, and a lot of schools do too. So a lot of public schools, a lot of stuff like that. Anyways, and that's why Google is just so awesome. So anyways, docs and sheets. Let's try a Google Docs, and now it's going to say, okay, what do you want to make? And so the recent things that I've done, I accidentally clicked brochure. I didn't mean to, but it is cool. I mean, and now, and this is getting into the things is like if you're trying to do business using a Google tool, there is something like that. There is like a limited amount of stuff you can do. You really shouldn't be making money off of free tools. That's just a general, like Linux does the GNU licensing where yes, you can use these tools, they're free, but don't make money off of them because then, you make your own tool if you're going to try to make money off of it, basically. And they'll even give you the tools to make the tools. That's why I love Linux and like the open source mentality. But yeah, but like for as far as like even just your own life, project proposal. Like I do all of these different projects. I've actually had some project management training in one of my jobs. Like, and you'll get this kind of experience the more you work in the professional field. So, and usually that's post graduation. It is a lot harder to get into the technical field without a degree. So, through all of this stuff, still remember to try to do a degree. But if not, these are the things that you can do. So, and I clicked, resume. I like Spearmint. That looks good. Um, Coral, like you could do a cover letter. Now, cover letters, I get confused. Like, I have done them a lot, and I don't know if I've actually. It would be interesting to see, because I honestly don't remember. I applied to so many jobs every time I'm looking for work that which ones actually landed me the jobs that I did get. So, anyways, it's just good to be able to do. So you can do a cover letter, resume, um, and that's where we click this. So yeah, let's go ahead and click cover letter. Let's see what advice it gives us. Also in Spearmint, so it kind of like matches your resume. Although don't lean too heavily on this stuff because I imagine a lot of hiring managers are going to start saying, "Oh, I've seen this before. It's a template in Google," but which is fine. But maybe be prepared to switch it up. Like keep all of your information. Well, actually, you can't really get out of it with a cover letter. You're going to have to write that every time, and this is just placeholder text. That lorem ipsum. You'll see that in different places, like in the resume, as lorem ipsum, just placeholder text. So, and a bogus address, email, just because this is a template to model what you're going to put your information as. You're going to put your phone number. And again, it's kind of, it's so annoying because you're giving all of this personal identifying information to every company you apply to. And so now you're trusting in their record keeping skills and processes and systems. So, anyways, it's important to note that that's a point of weakness in like current systems. So, but at the same time, we're shoring up all of the rest of our defenses. So, actually, hold on. We're shoring up the rest of our defenses to where these things don't matter. In fact, Google just recently announced this month, or no, last month, that they're going to be offering passkeys to replace passwords, which basically use a combination of your mobile device and your user account. And so these are linked, and that's multi-factor authentication, or MFA, and it's called by different things. Google actually calls it two-step verification when you add MFA to your Google accounts, which I have. I have MFA on all of these accounts, or two-step verification on all the accounts. So even if you had my username, my password, my kids' usernames, their passwords, like you couldn't log into them without my phone. And and if I lose my phone, well, sure. But first thing I'm going to do is just send a message to Google to shut down everything. And then at least until I can get, my phone has been compromised, shut it down, basically. So, and that doesn't actually work. Like you can't jump. So right away there's a security thing like, someone watching this and trying to use that for a nefarious purpose, be like, oh, I'll just start shutting down people's accounts. Well, no, because I have access to these accounts on other devices, other trusted devices. So now we're adding multiple factors or multiple factors of authentication. So, and that's something that is just kind of a reality of the world today is like now you need a phone, a computer, and another computer and another phone almost, or just be able to have a few trusted devices chained to your accounts and a few accounts chained to each other. So even if you can't get into one, and that's, and right away a lot of like warning bells and alarms should be going off into any security mindseted person's thing. Be like, no, no, that's how you move laterally. That's how you. Well, no, because remember, each of these still requires your phone number. So that's the other thing. So if I just, shut down my phone and got a new phone and activated the phone number, and if I got a new Android phone, a new Google phone, so right there, yes. I mean, obviously I work with Google a lot, and like, but I also trust a lot of their security stuff. And if you set it up correctly, so let me actually back up a little bit. So you need to set up a recovery password, a recovery email, and a recovery phone number. So everybody in their life needs to have a phone number. Just like we in America, we have a social security number, a phone number, and then everybody has a birthday. And we use a combination of all of these things to verify our identity to cut down on scamming, on basically theft, cybercrime, all of that stuff. Now, there's a bunch of different types of cybercrime, and we'll go into that, but the reason that I just love all these Google tools is because you are able to do these things. Granted, you still have to, send some information to a company. So be careful of who you apply to as well, I guess. Like, I mean, there is an argument for startups, yes, but honestly, when I was looking for a job out of graduation, like, I only applied to like the main companies first, and then I would branch out to the other ones. And I was basically perusing Indeed.com for my local area talent openings or tech openings, talent, whatever. Like, yeah, and you're trying to sell yourself as a commodity, so you have to list all of your skills, experience, education, and mind you, like if you have a bunch of experience, that replaces education. I mean, if you've already been doing the work that they want you to be doing, then that's an easy win for a hiring manager. Now, people with education, unfortunately, also have a lot of debt, so there is going to be that factored in, and especially with tech jobs, I mean, which a lot of them do pay really well. However, um, it's leveling out, I should say. Just like mountains, they're constantly growing, but then they're being eroded away. Like we have this need for tech talent, but then now we have the skills and the tools to teach to this tech talent a lot cheaper. I mean, now like even college degrees are moving down to boot camps. Boot camps are like the new thing for tech degrees and tech jobs. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's something to be said for four-year universities. But anyways, I digress on that. But the main things to have if you're trying to go for a tech job are GitHub, Code Wars, CodinGame. So let's go ahead and open a new tab and go to our CodinGame stuff. Hopefully this saved our... Okay, we're just still sideman. Are you a professional coder? Okay, so some setup stuff that we haven't done yet on this account. So we've linked the GitHub here. In here, where... let's go ahead and do this. Are you a professional coder? Yes, 5 years of professional experience. Although, for someone starting out, I can't remember if we're trying... So that's why it's hard. It's hard making up, like, alternate personas, which is a fun thing to do, but also kind of tricky. Like, and as a security thing, both, like, red teaming and blue teaming, unfortunately. But it also throws up a bunch of roadblocks if someone's trying to hack you, and then you can monitor their behavior by what they've tried to compromise and tried to attack. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of like fingerprints basically left by what they do. But we'll just go say skip. What do you want to do in CodinGame today? Actually, I don't want to do any of this. Like, let's go to our profile. So we have our profile set up. No, thank you. I mean, that is good. You need to do that stuff. So I have to the U.S. I'm not going to fill out anything else. I mean, I need to get a picture eventually, but when we get to this point, we will be doing all of this. So we're not quite there yet. I'm A-Rye, remember that. So there's just a little bit of stuff. You first need to get comfortable with Code Wars. And before you can do that, you need to be comfortable with Google tools and GitHub and having an email. And then also, this is a good thing, labels. So I mean, first you make your email, and then you sign into it. Make sure it's updated. I mean, we'll do that. I'll do that after the video. And then, select it over here. So anything that's GitHub that I want to put in the GitHub thing, we'll just click this button right here, move to GitHub. And then it goes to GitHub. So I had like, okay, a launch code when I started GitHub, and there is some interesting stuff there too. And that's kind of, it took me some time before starting this video. I was trying to decide if I wanted to. I said that I was a teacher, because that is the point of all this. I'm trying to teach, teach tech and computer science. But um, yeah, so they have a lot of tools, and you can apply for a teacher thing. But I basically went with the free account. Then you got Code Wars. So then here's all of the stuff, including some stuff that I haven't opened. So you got to confirm your account, and that links your email to each of these services. So, and that's another thing, because doing this stuff builds up your basically online profile, your online fingerprint that companies, law enforcement agencies, governments, like they all see. Um, so, which is a good thing. It sounds, a lot of this stuff sounds scary, like it's 1984 or whatever, like, oh, the government's going to control you. Well, that ship has kind of sailed, but we kind of govern ourselves and control ourselves. And by getting these tools, we understand, first off, what's traceable and what to be careful of, but also we understand that everybody's receiving the same treatment, so there's a lot less likelihood for crime, both cyber and real life. So it's an amazing thing. Sorry, that's my soapbox of that. But to get yourself secured and everything, you need to have an email, you need to link it to your phone number, you need to link all these accounts to that email, and then if you get locked out or, and it happens too, because like even with a college degree, I didn't even set up a recovery email for one of my old emails that was tied to something that I now had to go and like do a bunch of jumping through hoops to prove my identity to get back into it when I just could have just opened that email and had access to it. So the point is even with all that fancy college degree, I still wasn't set up electronically secured enough like the average person is nowadays. And I'm sorry, I'm talking the average younger person, like even younger than my generation, is like the age that grew up knowing technology. Like they just opened their eyes and tech worked. So, and now we've got this stuff, which is again, once you start doing a couple of these things. So first, make an email. In fact, let's do a Jamboard. Let's make a Jamboard of how to, and then we'll talk about this problem solving, because that's immigration, all the big things. But let's do a new thing. So new tab, and this is in Chrome, mind you. Chrome is the browser, and I click the things, the 9 dots for the apps. Scroll down to Jamboard, and now we'll do okay. And see, I have a ton that I'll be linking the stuff, but we're gonna do a new one. So we hit the plus sign over here. So new jam, and then just like what to do. So for Google. Let's just set up Google. So, what to do with Google. Now, I like to put these things around them. Then you do order, send to back. You can reshape it, move it around. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that's why I love Jamboard. So you just throw it up there. It's an idea there. So Google, create an account, profile. So now think about this as like Netflix or Disney Plus. Actually have both. They're there. Create an account or a profile. So with Netflix, a lot more people are familiar with that. It's been around longer. You've had a profile. So everything that you watch and everything that you search is tied to that profile. Same idea with Google. So when you create a profile like this one, I'm in the purple A, which is A-Rye social media, then all of the things that I'm doing here, in fact, all of these jams, let's open those Jamboards again. All these Jamboards, I'm still getting used to like finding Jamboards with Google Drive, because Drive is easy to see the docs and the sheets, but the Jamboards, and like they're in there too, I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable with like the file structure yet. So we've got career advice, Scratch, all these projects, blue team, red team. Not a lot of red team actually, because like that, I learned it, and we learn it in cybersecurity training nowadays, which I did a boot camp, so I did the degree, and then I went back and I did a boot camp to get more specialized training in cybersecurity specifically. And that actually was the selling point that got my current IT job. I don't know for sure, but I want to say it is. Between that and understanding how to use these tools, and to showcase that I know how to do coding, I know how to work with tech, and I know how to troubleshoot with tech. And again, you'll have access to these problem solving things. So right there, like let's actually just go through all of this. So I've got problem solving in general. I've got it in communication, politics, religion, for individual, the self level person, housing, immigration, Actually, I'm gonna probably do like, and you can move these around too. Like, see, you can click. Oh, whoops! Did not want that there. Oh well, doesn't matter. It can. What do we change? So we've got in general. Yeah, not a big deal. You can see all the different cards or slides, and you can just go back to them. But whoops, and you can Control Z it. Let's go back to our Jamboard of, and then what to do with Google, and also don't forget to give it a title. Google. All right, so create an account profile, and then let's see. Actually, no, let's see already. I don't like it, so let's select it. Let's do tech career. Because I'm trying to not say just for tech career or just career. There we go. Doesn't have to be tech. For your career, what you should be doing. There we go. So this is a more scalable solution. More people can use this. So career, create an account profile. Let's even change this. Google account, which is also known as a profile. And you can adjust it there. Dynamically change these boxes. A lot easier than, when I grew up back in my day, we had like Microsoft Word, which was good at the time. Like, but I mean, yeah, now we've got this stuff. Anyone can hop on a Google Chrome browser. As long as you create a Google account, you can do all these tools. So then, oops, and actually, all right, let's create some Jamboards. And then you can put it over here. Just put a little box around it. So right there, then you can link those two, and then showcase which coding languages, or showcase other profiles. Actually, this one already, I'm going to put kind of in the medium here, or the middle here. And again, we can move these around however we see fit. Let's also do, so we got to create the Google account, and then we do create GitHub. And really, coding is getting pretty much like keyboarding was for my generation. We all learned keyboarding in middle school. So you might have, yeah, and coding is becoming pretty mainstream. So you're probably going to need, in your lifetime, a Google account, a GitHub, okay, Code Wars, profile. Let's add profile on all of them, just to not leave that out. So GitHub, double click in there, profile. There we go. So a GitHub profile. Okay. Oops. Anyway, and yeah, you can go like really. Let's see. Create GitHub profile. Create Code Wars profile. And in this order too, mind you, because CodinGame is wonderful. They're an awesome tool. Like, don't get me wrong. They're both like, they're not really comparable because Code Wars gets you the basics, and they do a lot of the same stuff too, like the same game logic and the same code logic. But CodinGame takes it to like a whole other level, but they require you to be at another level. Like, to do the stuff here, you have to understand, and they do. They have the community learn. So actually, right there. Oh no, let's focus on the Jamboard. Sorry, it's like get a little ahead of myself. So let's close that out. We got Jamboard. All right, for your career, first you need to create a Google account, then create a GitHub profile, link the two. I mean, you'll have this email, and you need this email to do these things. So you can do any email, but you need an email account. I prefer Google because I can also do the Jamboards, the docs, the sheets, and all that. So for your career, you need a email, and then could say or email, but really for Google for a lot of this. Anyways, whoops, Control Z, I'll actually do that. So then once you have that, then you can create GitHub profile, and that you can create whenever, but you should do it sooner rather than later, because once you create a Code Wars profile, you should link the two. So then, and actually let's even put link GitHub to Code Wars. oops, not wars, hit caps lock. Alright, so, and that's kind of where they kind of converge back together. So, okay. So when you're starting out your career, start here, Google account, create GitHub, and create Code Wars. And once you have these two together, then you link them, and then create CodinGame profile. And this one, it's a little less formal linking, and I can show you that here. So here's the free tutorials, but if we go back to the profile, that's all you do is you say you're about me. You can put links to everything else, and then yeah, and when you click share, it's just really copying this link. That's your profile number. There it goes in the profile, and then this is who I am. This is my identity here. So, and then I have friends, which I have A-Rye, my original thing. So this is A-Rye Dose. And I will get a similar picture to tie them together because it is sketchy to just not have a picture. So that's another thing. You want to add pictures to your things. Code Wars is a little, well, I say that, but this is almost like GitHub too. Let's look at GitHub. Oh, because it's linked now. Interesting. Okay, well, and that's even like, so that's good. So in general security, and we're kind of going over the half hour now, but it's yeah, we'll do Code Wars in a separate video. This is just Google tech understanding, tech savvy, and what you should do. So we're back to the Jamboard. Let's actually rename this like tech. I want to say tech competency with Google tools. There you go. So you can still achieve this with Apple tools, Microsoft tools, or like the three main, and Linux and open source tools. But the three main contenders I can think of are Apple, Microsoft, and Google, basically. I just like Google because it's free and you can access it. I mean, quote unquote free. They're gathering all your information and they're using it as free research to build these tools. But even Borderlands has scientific research built into one of their games where, yes, it's a violent first-person shooter game, but they're asking their gaming community to do this other game to track genome stuff. And I wonder if that's even still a thing. It's been quite a few years now. It was in Borderlands 2. But anyways, tech is amazing because of that. And it also adds a paper trail to everything, a digital trail for investigation reasons. So just, yeah, don't break the don't break the laws. If you think they're unjust, don't become a hacktivist. Just work in changing the laws in the proper channels, I guess is the best way to say it. I don't know, easier said than done, but we'll get into that and some other stuff. I've been doing some of the Minecraft musings today, but no, we're going to focus on tech competency with Google tools. So, got that, and then create these. And then you still kind of want to link these profiles. Let's see, so, and create some Jamboards, showcase other profiles, and that you can also do with, so one of the things I don't like with Jamboards yet is I almost feel like you can't put links in here. I want to say like, if I did my profile, A-Rye Dose, copy that, Control C it, go over here, Control V it, and there's my thing. So let's see, can we make it edit? What are these? These are usually options. Edit, okay. If you triple click it to highlight all of it. No, those are the generic. Okay, so it doesn't look like you can link it, but you can in a Google Doc. So let's just do a blank one, no formatting, no anything. Just there, we do a Control V, there's that. So here we could do, enter it down a couple times, Code Wars, there you go. And then enter A-Rye Dose. So now we can link Code Wars, CodinGame, And this is more for internal. This is our internal use, CodinGame, and we'll go to our CodinGame profile, back to our profile, copy that. We can even title it A-Rye dose profiles. And this is just a good way to keep we can say A-Rye dose profiles. Even down here, you kind of got to get into the habit of doing that. Like, if you want to have the title here, put it here. If you should always have it here. So in fact, now, so it's saving as we do this. So if we open our drive from going into here, you see all this stuff, red team, blue team, like money, parenting, things that I've been like sharing with other people, because I have been like sharing between, like originally made a lot of these things on my personal account, then I shared it, and then I just realized, well, let's just moving forward, let's just make all of the new stuff in my public thing, and I'm still not going to grant access, to the drive to people, but on each individual document, like see right here, tech competency with Google Tools, we can click share and make it, so there's me. We can change it from restricted to anyone with link. However, as a viewer or an editor. So, and this is computer security 101. Like when you're trying to set up security systems, you want to make sure you only give people access to either view things, read, or edit things, write. And that's like Linux 101. It's like, do they have read permissions or write permissions? Because if they have write permissions, they can delete stuff, they can copy stuff, they can, if you just have viewer, I think you can still copy, but anyways, so keep them as viewer, and then copy link, we'll put it in your clipboard. So now, if I do back to here, profiles, let's also do right there. So that's the Jamboard. Jamboards. And see, even right there, and then we can highlight this. Let me turn it into a link. There you go. Okay, so you click after it and hit space, and it'll auto make that a link. So now you can see there's the Jamboard there, and so already right there I went from profiles to Jamboards. So now we could just say this like A-Rye dose resume, and see, you can dynamically change this whenever you want to whatever you want. So now as this thing changes, so we've got profiles, we've got Jamboards, we've got and even within CodinGame, you might have like CodinGame playgrounds. So another thing that I recommend for people to do is making their own tutorials for coding languages. So if we go in there, actually, yeah, sorry, I just always think like, should I cut it off like 38 minutes? Now let's just keep going, like an hour of your day, and you're learning all these Google tools. So yeah, and basically, so profiles, and we can even put it here. So those are the profiles. Let's even just do like roadmap, suggested roadmap. There you go. So and even this is the different type of learning, different type of explaining things, different types of teaching. So here we're at the Jamboard, which is more visual, like, okay, you want to do your career or your professional life, or, once you get out of public school, how do you want to do this? So actually, let's just say, post public school. Actually, no, let's not even say that, just because I'm also thinking about trying to make this scalable for every country. So for my viewers outside of the US, like, this should be applicable to you, and it is. So let's keep it generic like that. So for your career, and mind you, we're never done learning, so even if you don't have the basic education that, like America has a standard education, a lot of countries have a base set of education that they require as you grow older. Just like, hey, you need to know these things just to function, just to be able to live in society. And we're getting better at that. I mean, we're actually kind of front loading a lot more of the stuff early on in grade school. So that's what we know it as here in America. We do it public education, grade school, grades 1 through 12 with kindergarten. Sorry, there's usually preschool and then kindergarten, which is basically like glorified daycare, but like early education, and then kindergarten, and then which is still like switching gears, teaching more like school stuff to get you ready to go to school, and then like everybody has to at least do at the minimum grades 1 through 12 of public school education, and they have to be able to pass the tests to get to graduate and to get your high school diploma. And if you don't get that, then you do the GED, and those are those other videos that I was doing. Because so again, like if you're from another country, you should be able to do these things and pass these tests and feel comfortable with these tests. And we've done math, we've done science. I did math like over a year ago, so I almost want to like redo that. But again, I mean, I don't know. I still need to do social studies and language arts, and we did science. So first you need this. So anyway, so we'll add this to our roadmap. So just to be scalable for everyone, suggested roadmap: be able to, or be comfortable with GED practice tests. That's step one. In fact, we can even start numbering these. First and foremost, you have to be comfortable with those tests. Okay, and then see it already indents it and adds auto format stuff. So then, okay, then we hit enter again. Number two, be comfortable with GED practice tests. Be comfortable with Google tools. Now, you could do this other way. This is just my roadmap for learning with Google. Because this is my suggested. It's free. It's available for everybody. You can do this with Apple. You can do this with Microsoft. And you can do this with other, too. Like, there's other competing tools and markets. Anyways. But this is just how we're going to do it. So, in these videos. Now, and that's the other thing. Is once you learn Google tools, it's easier to learn Apple tools. I should say that. And Microsoft tools. And we will be going through Apple. But honestly, there are other people that are much more qualified to teach you Apple stuff on YouTube. So go seek them out in the meantime. And then, maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. But at least here, yeah, sorry, that's my spiel. So be comfortable with GED practice tests, be comfortable with Google tools, and then create professional profiles. And then these are Google, Code Wars, CodinGame. Actually, even if you don't want to get into a tech degree, these are still fun things to do. Like, it's a very great hobby to do coding, learn coding. I mean, and then you get into like all these other things. So my hobby was coding for a long time. It still is, but now I dedicate more of my time towards problem solving outside of code. So, which is even more rewarding, more fun. But, coding is still, it's like getting puzzle books as a kid, and then you kind of graduate onto, which I did, a lot of puzzle books. In fact, even that, maybe like, look into puzzle books. This is really a roadmap for life, too. Puzzle books, mazes, word searches, crosswords, Sudoku. And I say puzzle books, but there's also free apps for a lot of these things. And when I say free, actually, let's do that and then tab. So now we're doing a subgroup. So we got into, all right, look into puzzle books. Now we'll do like books or apps. Books, either gas stations, grocery stores, bookstores, stuff like that. You could do apps, many free apps, but they bug you with advertisements. See, and I'm trying to write all this stuff, like, not assuming anybody is aware of everything in this country. So that's kind of like, so really the focus is, I want to help everyone locally that can speak English first, because that's my wheelhouse, like my area of expertise. I can speak English the best. Actually, I really can't even speak Spanish to the point where I'd want to teach, but I could translate stuff over and explain things a little bit. But there's other people out there, again, more qualified, more skilled people that can speak this stuff in Spanish. And yeah, anyways, but for this, you have free apps. So they bug you with ads, advertisers. Don't click the ads. And actually, that's always seek out everything. Well, That's kind of thing. Always seek out everything unless it's a link from a trusted person, website, or email. Because never click links from people you don't know or trust. Seriously, that's the biggest thing. Is like phishing emails for security, it's a person clicks an email. Because what that does is, as your user level with your permissions and your capabilities, you just clicked something that says, "Hey attacker, here is this access," and that's it. And like, and then they're in as you. Like you think about those hacker movies or anything, like I'm in. Like that's how it happens. Like it's because Ed or Susan down in wherever, whatever accounting finance department clicked a link and now you're in. And now IT security, even if you have an IT security team, chances are it's just IT in there. If you even have an IT team, there's a lot of companies that don't even have a dedicated IT team because it's expensive. Um, Unfortunately, because that was explained to me when I was at that aerospace company. It was like they made a lot of really good parts and really expensive stuff, but the IT was an expense, and that's how they saw it. And so it was like, yes, they still needed like state of the art IT and service, but they weren't actually producing anything, so they audited them like very closely. But anyways, different things, and you need to be able to pivot. You need to be able to be dynamic. So by doing all this stuff, you will at least be sitting in a good place, a good position to get a job anywhere, really anywhere. Because if you can do these tools for free, like there's zero investment on this. You just it's zero. Sorry, there's zero financial investment. In fact, also let's before we do any of this, be comfortable with GED practice tests. Um, Understand opportunity costs. So opportunity costs are all the costs, seen and unseen, involved in a decision or opportunity. And that is intentionally vague because it's meant to be a scalable definition for well, this is a problem. So a problem arises every time you make a decision. Not trying to make you stressed out or anxious, like it's not something like that. It's just something to keep in mind. So anytime you make a decision, a big decision, like buying something or changing jobs or applying for a job or quitting a job, like, there are opportunity costs to all of it. And so in an ideal world, you would be in a job that you love, that you're passionate about, and you're doing. But the real world is you'll have to work several jobs until you get to that, or well, most likely, sorry, you could hit the. It's the same with like relationships. You're gonna have multiple relationships before you find your husband or wife, or both. Like, I mean, monogamous, polygamous, whatever. Like that's the thing is that when you find your person, if you're finding one person, there's probably a lot of other people between that now and then, and the same is with companies. So, and again, I like to mix psychology, sociology, like behavioral psychology, all of that with everything I do because we're people. I mean, we have these tools, yes. Technology is awesome, but behind every keyboard, there's a person. Probably a really nerdy person, and now I'm looking at you because you're reading this and watching this. So now you're going to be nerdy, but no, and that's fine too. Like, there's no, I mean, I remember again back in my day, it was actually kind of like a thing, like ooh, the nerd, or oh, they're now it's like to function in society, you need to know tech. So it's kind of nice, but and yes, get nerdy with it if you want. That's fine, or you can get jiggy with it. Sorry, I heard Will Smith come on the '90s station the other day, but I digress. So opportunity costs are all the costs seen and unseen. Yeah, see, I'm starting to unravel. It's almost an hour. But this is important. So work remote when possible, or learn the skills necessary to work remotely. Now I say that, I'm just going to put that in there because remote work, in fact, we can even do this and tab it again. So, and this is where you get into like section 1, part A, section I, whatever. So it's getting really nitty gritty, and I don't want this to get mucked up like this, but like Um, Commuting, time, oh, and even that. So there, commuting, time in traffic, um, which is important because time that you're not at home, uh, being at your desk by start time, because that's another thing is like something to keep in mind is, and the first company I worked at taught me that you really should be at your desk when it's ready to go. So you should be getting to work a little early. Well, that's all great, but here's the reality is you're actually asking for more than a 40-day work week at that point because then you're talking, okay, well, we want you to be working by this time. Well, if they were remote, they could just work by that time so much easier. And that's the thing that both managers and employees need to consider is like, and it's a trust thing too, because the biggest concern about remote work is trust. Like, are they going to actually do the work? Are they going to be able to do the work? Or are they just going to be wasting a bunch of time, money, and resources for the company on that end? And then on the worker's end, am I going to be wasting a bunch of time and money with a car that works and an outfit or a wardrobe that's business appropriate for whatever the dress code is for your company? You know, you have to have fancy clothes, like the fancier the code is, like, you know, buying dresses and suits. And again, that's why I get into like the whole law and healthcare. We'll go back into that. In fact, yeah, we're gonna switch gears and we'll do a Minecraft musings, kind of tie all this up together. But I wanted to have this out here, so it's basically like all of the things that you need to get into a tech career. But this is also valuable for anyone, literally anyone. So yeah, this is security puzzle books, professional profiles. Like this is just yeah, my suggestions to you. Um, yeah, time in traffic, time not at home. See, that's the other thing. It's time in traffic, aka time not at home. So you're not at home relaxing, enjoying the things that you work so hard to fund and finance, like your house, your animals if you have animals, your kids if you have kids, your family, like you know, your even you, like you do these things. We work to get money to buy the stuff we like computers, video games, stuff. I don't know. Let's think about other hobbies outside of tech, like well, and that is important too, and that's by it's not bipartisan. Well, it is bipartisan, but it's also by gender, non-binary, like that way. I don't know. I don't even want to get into all that. Basically, it's scalable for everybody. Tech is fun for everybody. Like there's not a single person alive that's like hates every last thing tech. I mean, there's the Amish that are like concerned about it. Um, there's certain countries that are concerned about the freedom of information because there are ideas and thoughts that might be a little too much for them at the time. Or and you gotta be patient. Yeah, well, okay, yeah. I feel Minecraft musings coming on. But anyways, let's stay focused on this. This is good. We've got a lot going on here. So and this is the thing. So take a piece and go with it for a little bit. Take like an hour a day and say, okay, so for this hour, I am going to sit down and I'm going to figure out Code Wars. And that's it. Just do Code Wars. And like, okay, now that I've played with Code Wars, I've done a couple of challenges, I've looked at the different places. So you can click here, you can see your account, your profile. Just start clicking things, like just seeing things, training setup. I mean, a lot of this stuff, like I didn't do. I mean, because I already had a degree and did a lot of coding when I got to this site. But had I been doing this site before I started learning an actual like a university degree or a college level training, and it's the same goes for a boot camp. Like say you're getting into a boot camp, definitely do some of this first. I mean, you'll probably be doing this in the boot camp. I mean, at least part of it. But anyways, yeah, these are good things to just do, and it's fun. Like they're puzzles, like every one of these things. And then you get to the real world. Oh, life is but a big puzzle. It's just a series of puzzles and challenges and problems that you need to solve, um, or not. I mean, that's the other thing is like if you can't solve, but that's we're changing that. We're getting to a point where even problems in communicating between people and communicating with family members, communicating with law enforcement, that's a big one. Like say you get pulled over, if you're not trained properly on how to speak to an officer, whew, no, and I hate that I laugh at like some of those more seriously things. It could kill you, so you could die. But The same with them too. Like you got to remember, like they're coming up to a car, they don't know what's going on. You could be some like it's a danger or a threat to them. So, anyways, that's a whole nother like that's the social engineering or just like training that we should all have as a people. Yeah, I'll get back to that in Minecraft, but for this, for Google Tools, for about an hour or less video, I think this is a good spot. Like, do these things. This is just a jumping off point. Like this is where you go. Where you go from here is you do Code Wars, you do CodinGame, and see again. Let's go back to the Jamboard. That's why I love Jamboards. So this is what you do. If you want to have a career in tech, here's what you do. So create a Google account, then do a GitHub, a Code Wars, a CodinGame, and then you want to link GitHub and Code Wars. See, so like kind of you're doing all this stuff in order. Then over here, create some Jamboards, showcase other profiles, and then there's this. But see, like, if you're just coming in here, this isn't, I mean, yeah, you can triple click in here, you can do a control copy. That's if you have, I don't know, I'd have to look and do some testing to see what it's like as a viewer, and I've been doing that. That's why I have like all my accounts linked. Because like even my, and if it's like anonymous, it'll say like, oh, anonymous giraffe or some animal will show up here. And that's good because it shouldn't, like, it's okay if Google's keeping track of all this, of who's viewing what, and they are. Like, every website keeps track of your IP address, information about you, what the time is, where you're doing it from, and even if you have these hacker tools that kind of try to hide that information, it's still able to be found out. And that's what people don't really understand. Like, and that's part of the social engineering, the preventative side, is just raising the education awareness that, like, we're now at a point where you shouldn't be doing these things because we are going to catch you. And by we, I mean law enforcement, government agencies. I don't represent any of them, but I work with them, like as a global citizen. So, right there, trying to keep people from getting scammed, keep people from robbing people, like, and keeping people from robbing, like, feeling the need to do this. Like, if you do these things, you can get a job, you can work hard, and you can have all of the things. And we're spreading that. Well, it's not we, like, the world is spreading that. Like, it's not just America. We thought that it was just America back in the day, or at least that's how we're trained, like, as we're growing up, like, America needs to be doing this. No, no. The world needs to be doing this, and the world is. So, it's good. But for now, on a smaller scale, use a Google Docs for these things, because then you can share this with people. See, in fact, I'll even share this. So, like, restricted, no, anyone with a link, and then I'll put this link in the YouTube video, and you can come here, you can click the link, and you can be here. Now you can just see it. I'll probably make some documents that are editable by everybody, but I'm kind of giving this like a test run. Let's see, like, people can view it. I can see when people view it. I don't really, if I have it open and I'm paying attention, I can see when people pop in here. And it was really funny because I put one of these links on my YouTube profile, and it instantly had like 6 or 7 people, quote unquote people. They were probably bots. No, they had to have been bots, unless someone is actually like watching my page that diligently. No. So basically, I saw a bunch of bots jump into my Jamboard, and they're like, whoa, 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 do, and then it like slowly started going down. Like once the program either scanned, did what it was gonna do, tried to penetrate it, or anything. Because that's the sad reality is we have robots that try to hack everything every second of the day, every IP address, every link that's like everything. And that's why we're defending against it. So that's also why you never connect to the internet without an antivirus already installed and set up. So anyways, it's a good hour. Let's call it that way. I'll put these links in the video, so check the description below. And really, if you have the link to this, then you have the link to everything. So making it easier, reducing the friction on you and reducing the friction on everybody. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Like, go to the description in this video, click the link to A-Rye dose resume or whatever it is at the time, because this could change, could be dynamic. But the description should say what the links are, and then you can find this. You can find the Jamboard, which will probably might have a different name. That's subject to change, and then be able to do this stuff yourself. Play with it, get familiar with it, because that's how any of us, like in my generation, got good with tech. Was like we had a computer and we used it. Like the more you use this stuff, the more it makes sense. Like, so if you're a Microsoft user, use your tools. Like if you're an Apple user, use your tools. Like, it doesn't matter. These are all wonderful tools. Just depends on how much you pay for them. I mean, because it is a business at the end of the day, and Google's business is knowledge, so they're making buku bucks off of advertising stuff. but they're able to provide stuff like this. So I don't know, small price to pay that they know what I like to buy. I mean, I'm just gonna keep consuming and all that scary stuff. But anyways, that's yeah, that's an hour. Have a great day, everybody, and good luck. And if you have any questions, ask in the comments or ask in any of my videos, because that's why I'm going to be doing streaming, I think, soon with YouTube, so I can actually have like interactive Minecraft musings. But for now, like all I do about the musings is I try to predict what questions I can answer better and how I can better make my teaching. Because at the end of the day, the end goal is like I spend a few hours and boom, I'm able to teach hundreds, thousands, whatever, like a much more scalable amount of people. They're able to learn, use it, and go profit. Doesn't cost me any time, but a little bit of my time. My time is valuable, yeah, but for these projects, it's free. So that's what I love about it. I have a good job. So now you need to get into a good job, and then you can help other people. And you don't have to do the same thing I'm doing. You can. And we'll just work together, we'll collaborate, and the whole open source community, well, I don't know. It's not an official community. You don't have to have a hat or anything or like a sign up membership. It's just help other people. So, anyways, I'm going to sign off here, update my browser, and then go do some Minecraft musings. Actually, no, maybe some Code Wars. Yeah, let's do some Code Wars. All right. Talk to everybody. Hope this was helpful and happy learning. See you later.